Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Mabimpressions. Today we're going to be talking about Voice of Cards, The Isle Dragon Roars. This game is a JRPG with a huge emphasis. The huge selling point is that it is graphically overhauled to be sort of like a tabletop RPG where everything is cards. Is it worth playing? Let's get into it. If you guys enjoy these types of videos, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I do upload videos daily, and if you have any questions that I didn't answer in here, feel free to comment below and I'll try to answer it as soon as I can. And of course, if you are interested in all the footage, there's a link in the description to the MabiVsGamesVOD channel, which is my Let's Play. I'll be uploading daily videos of Voice of Cards and other games that I review there, so thanks. Alright, I'll be going over a summary of the game, gameplay, presentation, the pros and cons, and my final verdict, so stay till the end of the video for my final rating, beginning with the developer and publisher. This is Square Enix. The game is released on October 28th, 2021, and it is going for $29.99 US. If you want to get all the DLC together, it's going to be a total of $37 US. Just know the DLC is pretty much all aesthetic, so no pay to win stuff here as far as I can tell. The story takes place in a medieval setting. There's magic, there's trolls, there's slimes. If you play JRPGs, you kind of know what we're getting at here. Anyways, the royal treasure has been taken by an all-powerful dragon. The queen has enlisted a bunch of warriors and priests from all walks of life. She has gathered them in this castle, and you play as the main character, who is pretty much a really cocky and arrogant novice warrior who's pretty much saw the sign and he pretty much wanted riches. So he goes in there and you meet up with other people, and that's where the journey begins. The genre, as I said, it's a JRPG, it's a card battler, a turn-based game, very story-rich. We'll get into that, and it's a single-player game with slight multiplayer aspects. I will talk about that too. Let's jump right into the gameplay portion. You are going to be spending the majority of the time doing three things: combat, exploring, and story stuff. Let's talk about the combat. I'm not going to go into every little detail, but I'll give you enough to know exactly what you're going to be getting into. So, you start the game with your main character and with a couple of friends, and you're going to be level 1. You're going to be running around fighting things in a turn-based setting. So, everyone has HP, they have defense, they have attack, they have speed, and you get stats. You get more stats as you level up, getting just experience, and the skills that you get. Even though it is a card-based game, it is pretty much just an RPG. You're not going to be drawing cards. Instead, you always have a set number of skills that you get via leveling up and maybe other things. So, it's your turn, you have an attack, you have a heal, you have whatever, and you can just pick it and choose an enemy and do it. So there's no randomness there. Where the randomness does come in, and where the tabletop part does come in, is with certain skills. You actually do have to roll a dice. For example, maybe getting a high roll will activate a status effect or even add more damage. Some skills have different elements: fire, wind, water, or ice, whatever, same thing, and you can use it on enemies to get more damage on them. All of your skills and equipment can be set up beforehand, so you can go to shops, buy weapons, buy armors, buy accessories to increase your stats. And of course, when you do unlock more skills, you can change them in and out, because you can only have a certain number of skills per battle, so you can change your loadout that way. And of course, this being an RPG, you can get consumables like potions for healing. You can get Phoenix Down like things and things to cure poison and paralysis. One thing that I did like, though, which they got rid of a mana system where you would have resources to use certain skills, and instead you get sort of little gem pieces that you acquire every single turn a character can act. And every character, it's either a free action that's kind of weak, or it uses up a little resource that is shared between the whole party to activate certain abilities. So that's pretty much combat. It's pretty much JRPG, pretty basic stuff. Now, let's go into the exploration aspect. This is a tile-based exploration. There are random battles outside of towns and dungeons. So you go and explore, you unflip the fog of war, and sometimes you find a treasure chest, sometimes you find an event. A lot of the times, though, you are going to battle. It seems like the encounter rate is pretty high. In towns, there are NPCs you can get to know. Some of them give you quests, and there's also towns with shops, so you can go buy armor. You can go to the inn to heal up. You can go to the item shop to pick up more curative wares, and also there's a game parlor. We do have to quickly mention the game parlor, however, because that is pretty much the only multiplayer aspect in the game. Pretty much you are going to be playing a 1v1 game where you gain points trying to match cards up. You get a certain amount of cards depending on the rule set. I won't go into that, but pretty much you want to make pairs, you want to make triples, you want to make 3 card straights, and if you win, you get skins for things. So it's not 100% necessary, it's optional, and it's there. Let's talk about the story. There are some cutscenes where sometimes it's just, you know, character portraits talking to each other, but they try to make it very, lively. You know, sometimes the cards get turned over, sometimes they bash into things, and, you know, for the most part, everything in the game is voice lined. You are going to be hearing one narrator voice through the whole thing, and his inflection will go up and down depending on, you know, the type of character. So far, I've been playing for a couple of hours, and it's not annoying, but it can be. He sometimes talks during battle, like when you get a crit, or when you win a battle, he's like, "Oh, good job, you did it," etc. So, besides that, you're going to be unlocking new characters as you play. You can swap them in and out via the party menu. And there's also an encyclopedia that you can unlock, which tells you exactly how many monsters in the game, how many weapons in the game. So if you want to spoil yourself, you want a completion, it's all in there. There's also some really cool character and monster card things to unlock. So if you help an NPC, you can sometimes get their card, you can read their story, and then they have a secret story in the back, so you can read even more about them. So if you want more lore, it's there. Time to talk about the presentation. Okay, so obviously this is the big draw of the game. This is what's supposed to make it stand out from any other JRPG out there right now that's been released recently, because it is a full-on card-based graphical style, very tabletop. You got dice, you got little trinkets and stuff, all the characters, all the environments. The animations are pretty funny in battle, depending on the character. Like, your main character has a sword, so he's gonna be like running up and down and swiping characters. If you have an AoE attack, sometimes he'll just like roll around all the enemy cards. And if you're playing like as a wizard, of course your wizard's gonna sit there and just cast stuff. So they did what they could with the animations, and you know, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to compare it to Dungeon Encounters, another game released by Square Enix just a couple of weeks ago, where that game is completely bare bones, and it's like the same price. It is the same price. I think at the end of the video, I'll let you know if I recommend this over that, but so as I mentioned at the very beginning of the video, I did get all the DLC, and you can swap out things like your dice, your character movements, token, the actual board. It's usually a wooden board. Mine here is a marble one, and you know, a lot of stuff like that, card backs, and you can even change all of the character portraits. Right now we have an alternate costume, so I don't know what the regular guys look like because I've only been using this one, and you can also switch out to like a very basic chibi sprite one, which is cool too. Time for the sounds and music. Well, it's like basic fantasy stuff. It was nothing too special, at least what I noticed. It's very consistent music though. They have this one thing where, you know, you're fighting in a dungeon and it's one track. It does not get cut. You walk around, you get into a battle, it doesn't cut. It just keeps going. So it's very smooth that way. But then as soon as you get to an event or a boss, that's when it changes tracks and ramps up. So, you know, they did think about how to integrate it, and, you know, it works well. You know, it's nothing too special, but it works well. Alright, so let's talk about the pros and cons of the game. What did I like and what are the main selling points? Well, I think definitely with this being just a straight out RPG, nothing new mechanically wise, is the graphical style enough for you guys to pick this up yourself. It's very nice to look at, and I kind of went into this blind. I knew it was going to be a, you know, tabletop look. I was more excited to be surprised of how much actual card-based mechanic stuff would be. I did not know it was going to be just, you know, just a really straight-on one-to-one JRPG battle system, except everything just looks like cards with slight elements. You know, there's no deck building besides like your loadout, which is whatever. There's no like card drawing or anything like that. So yeah, I mean, the graphic style is nice. It is going to make it stand out, but I think for those of you looking for like a really crazy new experience, probably not. It's a lot of stuff that is very familiar, very, very familiar. Okay, what are the big things that I disliked and what would I change? with me playing the Switch version, I did have a couple of problems. First of all, it's not a very heavy technical graphical game you would think, but for some reason there's like really low FPS in some of the menus, especially when you're buying stuff. I had a crash where I think there was something to do where the narrator talked during a battle and I might have pressed A or something a little too fast, so it like loaded the voice and then I clicked out of it, but the game was too busy doing something else, so it might have like something happened there. So I'm trying not to tap too hard the A button, but if it crashes again, that's unfortunate. Another thing is the menus are very, very, very slow. It takes forever to open things, it takes forever to talk to people, and it takes forever to buy things. My god, you have to buy things you have to press one at a time. You gotta press buy more. I want to buy more. I want to buy more. Man, I know it's a card-based game, but come on, you can speed that up a little bit, right? Another thing is I would like this being a heavy RPG game with a lot of board game stuff and stats, I would have loved more information. They don't tell you the crit rate. Sometimes when you attack or you heal, sometimes you get a crit. It happens very often, so I don't know what the percentage is. Just off the top of my head, it feels like a 25% chance it's happening. And the defense, it's a little weird. I don't know if I skipped anything in the tutorial, but pretty much, like I said, every character has an attack and they have a defense. You would think it would be like a 1-to-1. For example, if you hit 5 and a monster has a defense of 3, you would think you land a 2. But sometimes you land a 1 and sometimes you land a 3+. So it's very weird. I don't know how it works there. All right, time for my final verdict. First of all, from what I played, it is basically just a JRPG with slight tabletop mechanics. There's random encounters walking around. You're leveling up, getting gold, getting experience. There's nothing really, there's nothing here that screams, get it, because, it's a tabletop experience. It's not. It really isn't. It's just everything in the form of this graphical style. So, I mean, if that's what you like, then cool, but you have to know. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, that's what I felt like playing it. Like, this, you could have reskinned it as just, like, a Dragon Quest game, and I probably wouldn't have noticed. It's a solid JRPG. I will give it that, and it's definitely more engaging than dungeon encounters. So, here's my final verdict. I'm going to have to give this game a 50-50. I just, it's a solid game, like I said. But to get this game just for the board game card aesthetic, it doesn't lean into it enough to make it feel that difference. You get like, dice rolls here and there. But for the most part, that's it. I don't know. So if you guys enjoyed, leave a like. It helps a lot. If you haven't already subscribed for daily videos, I would love to know your guys' opinion. Was I too harsh on the game? Did you pick it up yourself? What do you think? Because, like I said, I came in with a pretty much no expectations. I knew I was going to like the game, and I'm going to continue playing it. I am. It's just I was a little disappointed. It doesn't lean very hard into this, but it is what it is. If you guys want to see the playthrough, once again, link in the description to the MabiVsGamesVOD channel, where I'm uploading the full playthrough. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.